So I guess one of the first things that excited us about lead was that you could actually see it on an HPLC detector. That was one of the first things we got excited about. We're like, oh, great, we can QC this. But then as we started to look a little bit deeper, you find out that yes, you can see the lead, but you can also see the bismuth, and you can see the thallium, you can see all the other isotopes, and they're all jumbled up and mixed up. And that makes traditional radio-HPLC really quite challenging. We've been stuck with having to fractionate a chromatogram and then put those fractions onto a gamma counter, wait until equilibrium, and then identifying which isotope was making up the signal on the chromatogram. That's a really time-consuming and often quite inaccurate process. The temporal resolution that you're able to achieve with that fractionation, for example, is pretty pants. I personally think they're game-changing. I think they're a massive innovation in the field to be able to separate spectrally the different signals arising from the different isotopes in the decay chain, separate out all the different chromatograms almost in real time, and identify what's your lead species, what's your bismuth species, what's your thallium species. Really streamlines development, QC, release testing, everything. So it really does revolutionize HPLC. I honestly think one of the most advantageous pieces for us from the LabLogic offering is the integration with existing software systems. That is a critical piece for me, is having that novel hardware, and it's great hardware, integrated with a software system that everybody's familiar with and that's validated and that is accepted by the regulatory bodies, makes this a very, very streamlined roll-in of that product into routine workflows, and that's critical. It's a complete revolution. We don't have to have poor technicians waiting with trolleys of thousands of tubes ready to run across the lab to the gamma counter because everything's changing in dynamic equilibrium as they're moving their fractions to the gamma counter. So it's a hugely labor-intensive process to reconstruct an HPLC trace based on gamma counter, separately gamma counting tubes. It can be quite an inaccurate process. So yeah, being able to do that just at the push of a button makes a massive difference to workflows. And GMP compliance is everything at late stage development. So, beyond just treating patients in compassionate use settings or in early stage clinical trials, if we really want to make drugs that are going to impact the lives of patients, it must be GMP manufacture. Everything must be compliant with GMP manufacture on a commercial scale. That's why not only is regulatory compliance essential, but time is absolutely essential for short-lived isotopes. Yeah, ultimately with short-lived isotopes like lead-212, time is product. So the faster you can make a process, the better the yield of the process. So for QC testing and release testing, the quicker we can get QC testing and release testing done, the more doses we're going to get out of one batch. And so being able to streamline those QC processes, compress the time that it takes to do that data collection, data manipulation, reconstruction, get a report, click button, done. The more patients we're going to be able to treat on a given day, given the capacity and output of a manufacturing network. So that's hugely valuable. The ability for data collection software packages to integrate with LIMS systems or other information management systems is very, very valuable. Having everything streamlined into one network system makes audit trails easier. It makes investigating data integrity a lot more straightforward. The service from LabLogic is exceptional. It really is. Just the time that you guys put into trying to solve our problems, the time that you put into understanding our problems and then coming up with really quite creative, amazing solutions is fantastic. The team are a pleasure to work with. It's always enjoyable to have the interaction with the LabLogic scientists, with all the staff. It's great. It's a partnership I really, really hope to grow between AdvanCell and LabLogic. I think there's a lot of other technical challenges that are looming on the horizon for radiopharmaceutical development that will require innovative collaborative solutions to solve them, and I'd love to embark on new journeys with the LabLogic team.